Okay, could we have this meeting come to order, please? This is the Board of Trustees of the Long Beach Community College District, March 26, 2013. And if I could please have Jonathan, who's up here in front, please lead us in the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the board did meet in closed session and has no items to report. Roll call, please.
President Uranga,
Here.
Vice President Kellogg,
Here.
Member Bowen,
Here.
Member Clark, Member Otto,
Here.
and Student Trustee Troya.
Present.
Okay, we have any welcome introductions to make this afternoon?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Okay, we're now at the approval of the minutes of March 12, 2013. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any comments, amendments to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Minutes are approved as submitted. Ordering of the agenda. Do we have any recommendations for reordering the agenda? Okay, hearing none. The agenda stands as presented. Report of Board of Trustees. Item 1 is the 2013 Triple CT, which is the California Community College Trustees Association. They hold their elections right around this time of year. And we have a slate that was presented to us, and we have a total of 7, from which let me rephrase that, we have 13, from which we have 7 to elect. The recommendations, well, let me just go ahead and list the individuals who are candidates, and then we'll make the ones that we are recommending for approval for the slate that we will submit to the league. Diane McKay from Ventura County, Howard Rudd from Sierra Point Community College, Adrian Gray from West Valley Mission Community College, Sai Gulasa from Peralta, Louise Jaffe from Santa Monica, Isabel Barreras from State Center, Sally Biggin from Redwoods, Greg Bonacorsi from Ohlone, Susan Keith from Citrus, Garrett Yee from Ohlone, Lauren Steck from Monterey Peninsula, Jerry Hart from Imperial Valley, I guess, Brent Hasty from Yuba, Jeffrey Lease from San Jose Evergreen, and Linda Waugh from Pasadena. After discussion, I am recommending that we submit the names on our ballot to the league. Would be Diane McKay from Ventura, Sai Gulasa from Peralta, Louise Jaffe from Santa Monica, Isabel Barreras from State Center, Sally Biggin from Redwoods, Garrett Yee from Ohlone, and Jerry Hart from Imperial. I want to emphasize that Sai Gulasa, Louise Jaffe, Isabel Barreras, and Jerry Hart are incumbents, so they're up for another term.
Second.
Do you have a motion and a second? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Committee reports. Do we have any committee reports at this time from any of the board members? Okay, hearing none, we shall proceed with the student trustee, Mr. Troya.
Hello. I'm going to set aside politics for a few minutes. One of our dedicated student leaders was involved in a really bad motorcycle accident the other day and is in really bad shape. I'd like to ask everyone to keep Jamie Knaus in your thoughts. I have a card here that I'd like to circulate around if the board would like to sign it. She is a fellow honor student of mine. She actually ran against me as student trustee last spring. and she's an intern with Miguel Contreras, and was planning to transfer out in the fall. So I'd appreciate it if you guys wouldn't mind signing the card. On a more positive note, I attended the HTCC Honors Research Conference at UC Irvine on Saturday, and out of 300 presenters from community colleges across the state, LBCC took home 3 awards out of the 31 that were presented. Our ASB Secretary, Amanda Ford, became the first student in the history of our honors program to win one of the top prizes, having her abstract on predatory subprime lending practices in Long Beach selected as one of the 5 winning submissions. And Stephanie Cuevas and myself were honored with exemplary achievement awards. An update on the smoking policy. The board is free to move forward with our campus-wide smoking ban, as the ASB passed a resolution of support for that initiative, and it seems that other district business has kind of pushed that to the side, and we need to revisit it before the semester concludes. Also, I'd like to announce that I was elected as the treasurer of the California Community College Association of Student Trustees last week, and I'm excited about the opportunity to help advocate for the rights of student trustees until June 1st. All right, on to politics. I've been doing a lot of research on the programs that have been targeted for discontinuance, and I'd like to share some of what I've found. The following excerpts are from EdCode reviews conducted in 2012 on several of the programs that are slated for discontinuance. The Mechanical Maintenance Technology program gives students the comprehensive skills to maintain, diagnose, and repair mechanical, electrical equipment related to the heavy industry, transportation, shipping, and rail, or the refinery industry. The department also offers forklift training. In terms of our student profile, based on the data from spring 2012, we have 1 female student in the day program. Many of our students speak and understand very limited English. Most of our students' goals are to obtain a career certificate. They're looking for employment in the air conditioning field. The night students are typically older and is working. These students are taking classes to improve their job skills and are looking for employment in the air conditioning field. In summarizing the HVAC Mechanical Effectiveness Report from spring 2012, the enrollment count was 282 students, the success rate was 73%, the completion rate was 74%, and the retention rate was 86%. In spring 2011, the enrollment count was 187. Each year, the air conditioning department has fought to maintain an acceptable level of service to our students. This has become increasingly difficult because of budget cuts. Our department relies on grants and VTEA funds to upgrade computes and purchase new equipment. The air conditioning club has generated funds from various fundraising events, and faculty has been successful in obtaining donations from contacts in industry to support the program. Some students have received scholarship money. Constructions and related trades. We have experienced a significant drop in enrollment compared to previous years, 2009 and 2011. This is due to decreases of sections being offered during the past year. A total of 8 Associate of Science degrees and a total of 46 certificates of completion were awarded to students in the construction program during the school year 2009 through 2012. At present time, we do not have enough adjunct faculty, which has limited the ability to offer more classes. Classrooms need to be upgraded, and overhead projection systems for more effective lecture presentations. The construction industry is moving towards the implementation of green technology. Therefore, we will rely on grant funds to fund additional equipment, materials, and certification of our instructors to meet the challenges of preparing our students for the demands of industry. Automotive technology. Our student population represents the diverse ethnic population of Southern California, utilizing the vast technical expertise of our faculty. Students are provided with a broad technical foundation, along with the necessary communication and interpersonal skills that will allow them to be immediately productive upon graduation. The program provides graduates through a blend of theory and hands-on applications with the skills and knowledge necessary to meet the needs of both local and national transportation industry. We have experienced a significant drop in enrollment compared to previous years, 2009 to 2010. This is due to budget constraints and decreases of sections being offered during the past year. The success rate for the department is 77.68%. in 2011 and 2012, which is up slightly from the previous years. The retention rate is 82%, which is also up slightly from the previous years. The completion rate is 75%, which remained about the same. Based on the success, completion, and retention rates from 2010 to 2011, the percentage in the three categories is among the highest compared to the rest of the college. A total of 21 associates in science degrees and a total of 326 certificates of completion were awarded to students in the automotive, auto body, and diesel programs during the school years 2009 through 2012. Reductions in auto body and automotive offerings in the high schools have impacted the overall urgency in the vocational training and the community college programs. Reduction of workforce and funding restrictions for course offering is a direct result in fewer classes being offered to meet the needs of working individuals who seek evening classes. Aviation. On average, each semester, the following statistics are actually produced. Success rate, 90% plus. Certificates of achievement per academic year, 40. FAA airframe and power plant certificates of completion, 80. Associates of Science degrees, 15. The Aviation Maintenance Airframe and Power Plant Mechanic program continues to hold the highest retention level in the institution, issue among the greatest number of career certificates in the school, as well as produce one of the highest number of associate's degree graduates of the college. The Long Beach City College AMTS consistently ranks nationally within the top 10%. Concurrently, the program procured approximately $1.5 million in grant funding, which was applied towards the acquisition of modern aviation training technology in the form of tools, software, training aids, and equipment. The program also acquired a multi-level aircraft through a donation. Local job market trends remain high, in spite of a down economy due to a number of factors. The national average age of the average aircraft mechanic is 54 years old. 2, companies have postponed procuring new aircraft in a lagging economy, thus flying older equipment longer, thereby requiring that more maintenance be performed by fewer mechanics. Art and photography. The Art and Photography Department at Long Beach City College is one of the largest art departments in the California Community College system, and as such is dedicated to providing students with the finest, most comprehensive introduction to the arts possible. Toward that end, we have brought together a strong core of professional artists, art historians, and educators dedicated to developing a comprehensive foundation for students to explore their innate creativity. Overall, art and photography enrollment decreased, but an even larger reduction in sections limited access. Yet, in fall terms, art enrollment increased 8%, while sections were cut 25.9%. And photo enrollment increased 12.5% with no increase in sections. Department efficiency was consistently at or above college-wide load and index. In 2011, the load for art was 539 and photography 625, compared to 503 college-wide. Art was 107.3% and photography was 124.4% on the college-wide index. From 2009 to 2011, art success rates increased 4.78%, while photography success rates diminished a slight 2.3%. This was extremely impacted by the intro course, Beyond Photo 31. Photography success rates are 83% compared to a college-wide rate of 76%. Another major impact on photography student success was the program's temporary housing at PCC in 4 different locations with many non-functioning facilities. Art and photography programs promote and enable student success for many non-traditional and minority students. For example, in the previous 3-year period, student success among African American art students increased 11.75% as compared to the college-wide 8% increase, and among Native American art students, success rates increased 13.25% compared to a slight reduction in college-wide student success. Over the past 2 years, photography faculty at PCC have been constantly on the move from one temporary location to another. This fall, PCC's dark room remained closed due to the unexpected extended construction at PCC, and there was a strong indication from the Vice President's office that the program would not be moving into the new facilities for the entire fall semester. When the dean met with the department head, the full-time faculty, and the lab tech, she was shown how inadequate the facilities were and refused to assist. Almost half of the semester passed before students were given access to open lab hours. Throughout the entire process, the dean did not seem to understand the gravity of the situation. At this point, we have multiple serious complaints from students, and most significantly, it has caused students to drop out of their classes, expressing extreme frustration at how they've been treated. Furthermore, while all basic photo classes were moved to LAC to use the darkroom there, the termination of the instructional associate position that manages the LAC darkroom left only darkroom for both campuses open on a very limited schedule. Administrative decisions about the photography facilities and staff have greatly impeded students' access and ability to practice and finish their assignments, ultimately leading to the exact opposite of college goals for student equity, completion, and success. The emphasis placed on AA degrees as the defining measure of completion does not reflect the current conditions nor anticipate the future needs of art and photography majors. An AA degree in art holds no currency with regards to transferring to an art program, even for students who are on track to transfer to a CSU. Although an AA degree may guarantee admission to a university, it does not provide admission into the art department. The most important criteria for admission into an art program, public or private, is a competitive portfolio. LBCC does not currently track art students who transfer to private art schools. As a result, LBCC does not yet have accurate data regarding the art and photography department's transfer rates. While LBCC art students transfer to Cal State art programs, they also regularly transfer and receive scholarships to top-ranked art programs, including UCLA, UC Irvine, USC, Art Institute College of Design, Cal Arts, Otis College of Arts and Design, Art Institute of Chicago, San Francisco Art Institute, Milwaukee Art Institute, and others. The 38% reduction of adjunct faculty has been detrimental to the art program. Adjunct faculty provide our students with another meaningful connection to the art world and marketplace. Adjunct faculty serve as a mechanism to rejuvenate the art department by bringing in valuable ideas from outside of our institution. They also provide additional points of contact for art students as they transition from LBCC. The future for photography is energetic and diverse. As an industry, the role of today's photographer has dramatically diversified in the past decade, with advances in digital technology driving the need for training and retraining working photographers. Working photographers utilize skills in a multitude of career pathways, including design, publishing, manufacturing, culinary arts, fashion, retouching, art direction, graphic design, animation, photographer, stock image agencies, visual archivist, illustrator, marketer, and multimedia, just to name a few. New media platforms such as iPhones and iPads are creating increasingly strong demand for visual content. The role of the photographer is constantly evolving to include the use of computers, animation, film, and graphics. The photography program's courses provide core instruction in digital image editing, studio lighting, and visual design to provide students entry to a wide range of career fields. The creative economy, which drives 1 in 8 jobs in California, has a very different structure than LBCC's other vocational programs. It is important to understand that the majority of photo-related workers are self-employed, 2 to 1, and these are classified as non-employer firms. As such, they do not show up in the traditional federal and state government employment data. To really understand the viability of photographic careers, look at the relative strengths and expenditures for such industries as wedding, public relations, advertising and design, their budgets, average day rates, and the health of local industry trade groups. A good example is the wedding industry, a $5.3 billion economy in 2011, with over 58% of the market hiring a professional visual artist at an average cost of $3,800. Without the photography program, LBCC students would lose access to the opportunity to build a career as a commercial visual artist. Without access to affordable public education for these fields, middle and low income populations will either be shut out of entire industries or be forced to take on crippling debt through private arts programs, which can run as high as $110,000 for a degree. 8 LBCC art majors were accepted for transfer to Bachelor of Fine Arts programs at such prestigious programs as Cal Arts, California College for the Arts, San Francisco State University, Texas Women's University, and UCLA. Considered one of the top art programs in the country, UCLA is currently number 4 according to the U.S. News. Having 5 LBCC sculpture students transfer to UCLA during the past 2 years is a significant accomplishment for our students and the art and photography department, as only 8% of applicants for transfer are accepted. It is the equivalent of an LBCC business major transferring to Harvard. In addition, 2 students transferred to the MFA program at the School of Art Institute of Chicago. 4 of these transfer students received scholarships, plus 1 student received a national scholarship from the Women's Jewelry Association, 2nd year in a row, larger amount, and 1 received a scholarship to study at Haystack Mountain School of Craft in Maine. So I only have 4 more trustee meetings in my term of office, and I'm on a mission to make a closing argument resonate with this community. Though I'm transferring on to what some would consider mythical places, something that is supposed to be exciting, I dread leaving the board and this community with so many unresolved issues to contend with. I've been considering staying local and running for one of your seats, and that is a battle I think I would win, by the way. But part of the nature of community colleges is that they are transitory, and it's time for me to move on to the next stage of my life. I'm confident that the students of LBCC will be left in good hands and that the fight will continue. About the fight, the students of LBCC are going to give our administration until Friday, April 5th at the close of business to answer a series of questions to our satisfaction, or we will begin proceeding with a possible censure and vote of no confidence. We are committed to allowing for open dialogue and an atmosphere of collegiality while we go through the process of assessing whether our program discontinuance policy in fact directly violates Title V and numerous other shared governance guidelines. In the coming days, you will be served with a cure and correct notice directing you to suspend indefinitely the program discontinuance process until such time as you, 1, have commissioned a large survey of past students from each program, what led to their withdrawal, and whether they are working in the trade that they withdrew from. 2, have commissioned a study of at least 10 businesses for each trade that have hired our past or present students with or without certificates or degrees. 3, have made up a committee with students on it. And 4, have agreed that the decision reached by the committee is fully binding. We are no longer going to be asking. It is time to demand answers and proceed through a legal and electoral process if we do not get those answers. If you do not comply, you will be removed. And I have something to read from the ASP president. In efforts to maintain collegial correspondence, I will be forwarding a list of questions to the board tomorrow, March 27th. Questions regarding matters pertaining to program discontinuance and restructuring, accreditation standards, shared governance, student participation, and a section of state law, California Education Code, Title V, Section 51023.7, at which point I respectfully ask for a written response by Friday, April 5th at the close of business. What we are currently in regarding program discontinuance and restructuring is a process that has not ended. The impression that all decisions are final is misleading. Students are constituents in the academic process, and the views, concerns, and input needs to be taken seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. We move on to the agenda for public comments on agenda items. I do not have any speaker cards. Next on the agenda items is the consent agenda. We normally take these as a group. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these items? Okay. Hearing none, take a vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. That's the end of the consent agenda. Moving on to human resources, we have a resolution, the reduction of classified staff. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A motion and a second. Discussion. Okay. Just as previous efforts on this, we've gone through this for a number of years now, and it's always the same with me. Any reduction in staff is always hurtful. It's painful, and it's not something that we take lightly, and it's not something that we want to do. However, budgetary considerations being as they are, we have to maintain the fiscal nature of the college afloat. And when it comes to the fact that 80% or more of our budget is personnel, that's where the reductions are made, and there's, of course, a ripple effect, which is what we're dealing with now. Trustee Jason Troya certainly alluded to that, and it's unfortunate, and it really pains me. So, having said that, we have a motion and a second. Gonna have a vote of the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Number 9, Academic Senate, no items, no reports. Superintendent President report, President Oakley.
Yes, thank you, Board President Uranga. I just have a few items that, well, actually more than a few items, actually quite a few items. First of all, I want to report on the activities of this afternoon. Hopefully all students received notice that buildings B, C, and D were evacuated. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, a suspicious device was noticed in building C. Long Beach PD was called in. It was suspicious enough that required the evacuation of buildings C, B, and D. We took the matter very seriously. Long Beach Police requested the bomb squad to come out. The device was detonated. No one was hurt. Fortunately, everyone involved did everything that they should to ensure the safety of students, faculty, and staff. And I do want to thank the Long Beach Police Department for their quick action on this matter. Because an investigation continues, the building C and B remain closed for the evening. Building D is now open for classes, but building C and B will remain closed. We are working with Long Beach Police to conduct an investigation. As I said, this issue is being taken very seriously and will involve federal authorities in the investigation. So we will cooperate fully with all the authorities involved to ensure that everything is done to ensure the safety of everyone involved, as well as help authorities get to the individual or individuals who left this device in in our building. But again, I just want to make sure and let everyone know that everyone's safe, that there is no cause for concern, and Long Beach PD continues to conduct their investigation, and hopefully by the end of the evening, we will clear the buildings and have them open for business first thing in the morning. But please, I ask students and staff to monitor the website, to monitor our social networks. We will be posting information so that everyone involved is aware of what's happening. So please check that before you come in to work or to class in the morning. And as well as we will be using the Student Alert Network to get word to everyone. So I want to thank everyone in those buildings for the evacuation. It was a very orderly evacuation. We try not to panic anyone, but we want to ensure that we take every one of these threats seriously, and we'll do everything we can to protect the safety of faculty, staff, and students. Okay, on to brighter topics. I want to again announce the Horticulture Club is hosting the 41st annual open house and plant sale, began today. So if you hadn't had a chance, I think they're going on till 7 o'clock this evening. Stop by there. There's refreshments and thousands of plants for sale. I also want to congratulate our coordinator of the horticulture program, Jorge, who received his tenure this evening in the board action that we recently concluded. Speaking of faculty, I want to thank all the faculty that came to the faculty open hour this afternoon. I held an open hour, a series of open hours that I'm holding over the next month and a half, and I want to thank the faculty who attended today. I think it was a very informative and productive opportunity to discuss several issues that are going on here at Long Beach City College, and I look forward to the future opportunities as well. I also want to echo Student Trustee Troya's congratulations to the honor program students. He stole my thunder, which is quite all right. Congratulations, Jason, for the honor that you received, and to the other students, Amanda and Stephanie Cuevas. Congratulations to them as well. But I also want to take a moment to thank the faculty that made this possible for our students. Certainly Maureen Mason, our honors coordinator, Pablo Burt, Janae Hahn, Allison Murray Pop, Rodney Rodriguez, and Jeff Wheeler, who are all faculty mentors. Thank you on behalf of our honors students for making this happen. Speaking of a student trustee, I want to report that I think we had a very productive discussion yesterday about the issues that are impacting Long Beach City College, so I want to thank Jason for attending the meeting. Unfortunately, I missed Josh, our ASB president, who I understand was ill yesterday. The only thing I would ask is, although you've made this public announcement today, in the future I would appreciate it if you would let me know when you have your time with me, that you have questions that you're presenting to the board, and hopefully I can help you answer those questions ahead of time. But I'm as surprised as everyone else regarding your request, and we'll certainly do everything we can to respond appropriately to your request. Just a couple more. I want to thank again our faculty leadership, both for CCA and for the Academic Senate. We've been working on a number of issues, particularly those related to the department chairs, the department chair restructure. We're in negotiations right now regarding the department chair structure. It is a structure that's very important to this college. The department chair is a role that's been filled by faculty who help us support the organizational needs of departments, of faculty, of students. It's a very important position at Long Beach City College. We couldn't function without the department chairs. So I want to thank both Dr. Juarez and Dr. Shaw for their help in helping us improve the department chair structure, improve the opportunities for our best and brightest faculty to be able to lead our departments and to have the position structured in a way that actually gives them some reward for all their hard work. So I want to thank you for that. Last but not least, I do want to inform everyone of a legislative effort. We will have a full report at the next meeting, but as been mentioned at the last meeting, Long Beach City College has been working with Assembly Higher Education Chair Doss Williams to introduce a bill, AB 955, which has been introduced, although it is currently being amended, that would allow Long Beach City College, as well as other community colleges throughout California, to offer extension courses during the winter and summer intersessions. The legislative language would allow us to utilize faculty and to put them into classes according to the bargaining unit agreements, both full-time and part-time faculty. It would allow us to fully employ classified employees who are right now off during those intersessions in programs that lead to certificate degrees and to transfer preparation. We're hopeful that the legislation will proceed through the legislature and make its way to the governor. We are making sure that there is language in the legislation that provide for financial support for low-income students, and in particular provide opportunities for our vets to utilize the GI Bill and remain enrolled throughout the year. As has been mentioned many times, our facilities have been empty for most of the summer and for all of the winter intersessions. We are trying to find legislative relief for that so that we can offer more sections. Although they will be at a different cost, we are working to ensure that there's some financial support for those students who cannot get access to either a GI Bill or other types of financial aid. So at the next meeting, we should have a full report with the language that is being amended so that the board is aware of how that's proceeding. And that concludes my report.
On that last item, which side of the house is it going to be going?
It's beginning in the Assembly. As I said, Assembly member Doss Williams has introduced the bill, and so it'll proceed through the Assembly first.
Trustee Kellogg.
Eli, the question that in the past, and people have tried to tie this to be very similar to what took place at Santa Monica City College on what they were trying to do with a different scenario. We know that, the fact that this is an intercession. The question I had is because I read an article recently about the current chancellor. The last chancellor of the system was a former president of Pasadena, but he was more recently a former state senator. Chancellor Scott was adamantly opposed to this, and I thought that the new chancellor, Bryce Harris, was someone that was more willing to look at these type of scenarios. But I read something where he have some type of very basic philosophy against this type of concept as well?
Well, I can't speak specifically for Chancellor Harris, although I've spoken to him recently. I know Chancellor Scott did not oppose the move. He had concerns about the way it was being implemented at Santa Monica City College. I have met with Chancellor Harris to talk about the language. He has expressed concern about differential funding structures in the system, and we recognize that. So we've been working with staff and members of the legislature to address those concerns. The key here, as was reported by the Public Policy Institute of California today, California students have lost access tremendously over the last several years. California community colleges are at enrollment levels that we haven't seen since the 70s. So there's a lot of concern in Sacramento about when and how we can get our community colleges back to the capacity that we were at 4 or 5 years ago. I think Trustee Troya mentioned the number of sections that have been cut. That's not unique to Long Beach City College. The last 2 years, the system has turned away over 400,000 students. So until Prop 30 gives us the resources we need to get back to the levels we were 4 or 5 years ago, there is a lot of work being done in Sacramento to identify ways to increase access. And in this case, particularly in the intersessions, so that we are not competing with the normal classes of the academic year. So that's where we're at. There's no doubt that there are people who philosophically are opposed to any different funding structure for their California community colleges. I understand that philosophical debate and concern. However, in the meantime, we are turning away students, and we're looking for solutions. And Dawes Williams, who is the chair of the Assembly Higher Education Committee, Democrat out of Santa Barbara, has taken on this cause, and we're working with him to try and ensure that the language will work for us in Long Beach and community colleges throughout California.
I'm sorry, he was the Assemblyman was a guest speaker at the recent CCLC conference. And he is very, very unique, but also a really good story about his life, about how he was essentially homeless.
He's a community college transfer student. So.
And move on to University of California. So for someone to carry this bill, whatever we can do, whatever I can do, I'll speak on my behalf as a trustee here, but I'm sure we all are trying to do this. We were reading those same articles, and my concern was in that about the drop, not only the drop, what's happened in the community colleges and the funding, et cetera, across the entire system, but if the same report that just came out, the policy, California policy.
PPIC, yes.
Well, the one curious thing that I don't know if it was I haven't read the entire document, but, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because the fact of what this bill is doing. And I know Trustee Otto has said it many times, about driving by this campus certain times of the year where this campus is empty. That means no one's utilizing these buildings. That means that our dedicated faculty are not doing what they want to do, and that is to instruct, and the students don't have the opportunity to take a class. So this type of bill would address that during the intercession, and the $208 is exactly what we still offer for non-resident students anyway, so we're trying to stay in line. But the reason I brought that report up in this bill is that because one thing that was not I did not at least initially read about it, is that the community college system, as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of attacks on this system. It's financial from the state legislature's reduction of fees, but also not necessarily attack, but there's our competitors, and those are the for-profits, whatever you want to, the privates, proprietaries, however you want to refer to them. I was curious of how many students quit attempting to go the route of a community college and instead went that route where they can get the courses, even though it's more expensive. But I was curious if that information is out there or even there, because I'd be very curious about how some of the people that we compete with for students have said, I'm going to go utilize those colleges to get those courses and not get bogged down in the community college system. And that's just an interesting thing for me to think about on why we're moving forward. So the report's there, the information is there. The fact that the number of students and what we're doing as a college system as a whole, and Long Beach City College in particular, about not having as many section courses, students, but possibly it's the fact that bills like this that need to get passed so we can try these new reform-minded and some type of innovative ways to help our students. And I hope this bill is treated that way. But I was just concerned when suddenly the chancellor for the system, like it happened previously with Santa Monica, comes out, and granted it was a little bit different, his feeling about the mission of the colleges, but I just hope some people get on board and help us on this one, and I'm confident that the assembly member we have that's really spearheading this is going to do an excellent job. But it really does make a difference to our students, and I think it's something that's going to be beneficial to the overall college system and addresses some of those issues we saw in those reports. And so I'm encouraged. But whatever we can do, or what I can do, please let me know. And hopefully we can get into success up in Sacramento. Thank you for the report, too.
Trustee Otto? Yeah. Yeah,
Student trustee is.
student trustee, go ahead.
I just wanted, about Assembly Bill 955, I just want to let you guys know that the Community College Association of Student Trustees voted unanimously last week to strongly oppose Assembly Bill 955. And I'm aware that the Student Senate of California Community Colleges has also taken the same legislative position. So, for what it's worth. Thank you.
Can you tell us why?
Because of the two-tiered education system. So, I think that's the logic behind it.
So it's a philosophical position.
Yeah.
Well, and to respond to, unfortunately, the bill is it's in its first language phase. So although I appreciate the early opposition, I think with the amendments, much of that criticism will be mitigated because there is language that is being included to provide for financial support for low-income students. Otherwise, the other students have a means to pay either through the GI Bill, the American Opportunity Tax Credit, Pell, and other means. So although we understand the concern, that concern has been there since day one, as these organizations reach out to us and reach out to Member Williams, we will try to address that concern.
For purpose of clarification for the audience, there was an LA Times article today on community colleges and the effects the budget has had. It's in the LA Extra section, so if you'd like to read that, I think that provides a lot of the information what we're discussing about here, and it especially talks about the Policy Institute.
Yeah,
Trustee Otto.
and just to summarize it, the article basically says that enrollment in community colleges is down from 2.9 million 4 years ago to 2.4 million now. In other words, almost 600,000 students are not coming at a time when demand is higher because of the economy and what's been going on. And the reason that they're not coming is because we don't have the classes available for them. That funding over the last 4 years for community colleges has shrunk by $1.5 billion. And so we don't have the money to put on the classes that we would like to, that the courses have dropped 21% over the same period of time. We're offering, and I don't just mean us, but statewide, 21% fewer courses. And what we're all about is being in the education business. So anything that we can do that will open up more classes so that we can teach more students in ways that are acceptable. And like Eloy said, just like any process, we're at the beginning of this process. We're looking to have classes offered. And the other thing that it mentioned was that summer sessions have been reduced over the last 5 years by 60%. 60%. And that means that for the summertime, the 3 months of the summer, for the 6 weeks or so where there would be a winter session, nothing goes on here. There's no education that goes on here. And so what we're doing in a proactive way is looking for opportunities to make things go on here, to present classes so that students can go to these classes and get an education and achieve their career goals. And that's what these bills are all about.
Good. Thank you, President Superintendent Oakley, for that report. Next on the agenda item is academic affairs. No items, no report.
Board President Uranga, I apologize. I did miss one very important part of my report, which is responding to some of the questions that came up from the board the last meeting regarding students involved in program discontinuance. So if you wouldn't mind giving me another 10 minutes, I think I can get through this. There were several concerns raised at the last meeting with regard to two primary things. Where are we with supporting students, whether through counseling or other means, that are affected by program discontinuance, and this question about student governance in the process. So I wanted to just take a few minutes to address those. First of all, and I will try to go through this quickly, with regard to the 11 programs, let me just give a brief report of what we know thus far. With regard to air conditioning and refrigeration, we have identified 124 students that are affected, 33 courses, they were in 33 courses in the 12-13 academic year. 32 students have met with counselors. We have identified 19 students who would benefit from a summer session, and we have developed, we are offering 2 summer session courses in response to that. Air conditioning refrigeration 213 and 214 will be offered over the summer to allow several of those students to complete their educational goals. We've also been in contact with El Camino, Compton, Cypress colleges to make room for other students who wish to continue but cannot finish over the summer. Approximately 12 students are planning to attend Compton College in the fall. Los Angeles Trade Tech also has openings in their program, and students have been referred. The courses 213 and 214 can be offered, will be offered concurrently in a combined class, and that is in conjunction with the faculty. And counselors have visited all the classes in the program. Excuse me. Audio production, commercial production, we've identified 144 students affected that have been taking a combination of 132 course sections. We have met, counselors have met with 77 of those students. We've identified 46 students who could benefit from a summer section, and we have prepared, let's see, 7 sections that will be taught over the summer that will support the needs of those students. We have also contacted transfer institutions such as Fullerton College, Cerritos College, and Cypress College and communicated with the students about the opportunities to go to those institutions. Auto body. We have identified 136 students who were affected, taking 33 sections. We've identified, 9 students have currently met with counselors, identified 25 students who would benefit by teach out over the summer, and we have put 3 courses on the summer school schedule at this point, 2 sections of auto body repair and 1 of automotive refinishing. We have also met or discussed with Cypress College, who has made seats available for our students at Cypress College, as well as Cerritos College and Golden West College. And we are working with them to hold seats for our students as well. Auto mechanics, 216 students have been identified as being affected, over 79 course sections. 15 have met with counselors, 26 have been identified as benefiting from summer sections. We have put 3 sections of auto mechanics on the summer schedule. Aviation maintenance, 130 students have been identified as being affected, over 49 course sections. Counselors have met with 8 students thus far, and we've identified 18 who will benefit from a summer section. Those sections have been put on the summer schedule. Those are airframe certification completion, power plant certification completion, aircraft mechanics test prep refresher. We have also made arrangements so that students can make up missed classroom instruction so that they can receive their certificates. We are holding 20 seats for students at Orange Coast College for fall of 2013, and we have also been in contact with Chaffey and West LA College regarding their programs as well. I'll try to pick up speed here. Carpentry, 102 students affected, 27 have met with counselors, 16 have been identified to benefit from summer. 1 course section is on the summer schedule right now, and that's Carpentry 3. Diesel mechanics, 59 students affected, 14 have met with counselors, 19 have been identified as benefiting, and we're still working with the faculty in that program to determine if there's a summer session that could be made available. Interior design, 199 students have been identified as affected. 54 have met with counselors. 19 have been identified as benefiting from summer sections. 4 sections have been put on the class schedule for summer: beginning drafting, interior design, applied color theory and design, space planning, intro to green design. Photography, 238 students identified. 10 have met with counselors. 10 have been identified as benefiting from summer sessions. 3 courses have been put on the class schedule: photo for publication, experimental photo lab, digital photography. And by the way, I know Trustee Troya talked about the art department. In general, I just want to make clear the only program impacted in the art department is photography. The art department is not being eliminated. As a matter of fact, there's been no discussion about any other programs in the art department. Real estate, 188 students affected have been identified. 8 have met with counselors. 68 have been identified as benefiting from summer. At this point, we have not determined if any sections will be offered in the summer. We're working with the department at this point. Welding, 139 students identified as impacted. 21 have met with counselors. 27 could benefit from summer. 3 sections of welding have been put on the summer schedule. So that comes up with a total. I know we've talked about these numbers before. 1,675 students that we've identified as being impacted. 275 have met with counselors. 293 would benefit from summer. And a total of 29 sections have been put on the summer schedule thus far. Students are also meeting in group sessions with counselors, so we will continue to assess what needs to be done to support the needs of the students, and we will continue to update the board on our actions. Furthermore, with respect to aviation maintenance, auto body, and interior design, as I mentioned, summer teach-out classes in aviation maintenance will be offered. Scheduled to be taught this summer, as I already mentioned which courses are being taught. Also that we're working with Orange Coast to hold 20 seats for our students, and those are being held. They would not be put on wait lists. Those 20 seats are being held for our students. So we just continue to work specifically with those programs, as well as work with the programs to ensure that the skills that have been mentioned by Student Trustee Troya can be taught as part of other programs, and we continue to do that work with our faculty. Also, one last update, the counselor is going to aviation maintenance classes starting tomorrow, so counselors will be present starting tomorrow. For many reasons, the counselors have not gone to aviation maintenance right off the bat, and that's particularly for the purpose of trying to coordinate seats in other institutions like Orange Coast College. But now that that's been done, counselors will begin to spend more time with our aviation maintenance students. Finally, I just want to get back to a concern that was raised regarding student governance, and we will make this information available to our ASB president as well, although I did have a chance to talk about this with Student Trustee Troya yesterday. The key to shared governance is participation. Title V requires that the college give meaningful participation to the constituents of the college, and specifically in this case I'm referring to students. Currently, students have representation on all of our shared governance committees. There are a number of shared governance committees. The College Planning Committee, the Budget Advisory Committee, the Facilities Advisory Committee, Citizens Oversight Committee, the Student Success Committee, Staff Equity Committee, the Pacific Coast Campus Task Force, Technology Oversight Committee, and the President's Leadership Council. Students have either 1 or 2 reps on each one of those committees. That's where decisions are reached regarding recommendations, regarding criteria for various programs, and specifically In various of those committees over the last 2 years, program discontinuance has been discussed. For example, criteria for program discontinuance was discussed and developed in the College Planning Committee. Program discontinuance was discussed, and the criteria for budget reductions was discussed, and recommendations were made in the Budget Advisory Committee. President's Leadership Council has discussed program discontinuance for the better part of the last 2 years. And the regulations that have been discussed, specifically Administrative Regulation 4024, was developed, reviewed, and forwarded by these committees. It was also reviewed by the President's Leadership Council, at which the students have representation. So the college makes representation, meaningful representation, available to all of the constituents. Now, the challenge is ensuring that the representatives are there. There are several examples over the last 4 years where students have not been attending these meetings. So, for example, the Student Success Committee has 2 ASB reps. Since fall 2011, no student has attended. The College Planning Committee has 1 ASB rep. Since fall 2011, no student has attended. And so this is what I discussed with Student Trustee Troya. The key to participation is being at the table when processes are developed. That is the requirement, that constituents be at the table when processes are developed. The ASB is allowed to appoint a student representative to the President's Leadership Council, where all policies and regulations are reviewed, distributed, and we ask that all the representatives take those regulations and those policies back to their organizations for feedback. That is a process that we use directly in compliance with Title V regulations. Most recently, the Regulation 4024, which is Program Establishment, Modification, and Discontinuance, was developed in PLC in 2005. At that point, students were represented, as well as faculty leadership, classified staff, management staff, to discuss the regulation. Since then, the regulation has been discussed in several forums and several planning groups prior to us beginning program discontinuance. As a matter of fact, there were recommendations made that we followed, that we opened up program discontinuance to a union representative from both the classified and CCA, which we did. There are recommendations made that we have department presentations to academic council, which we did. And then the board went so far as to open up department-specific presentations throughout the last year, which obviously the board did, none of which are required by AR 4024. My point here isn't to point fingers or to express concern, and I could go through all the reasons why we feel that we're in compliance with Title V, Section 51023.7, which is what the student trustee referred to earlier. But there is clear case law throughout California about what this means, what participation means, and we took quite a lot of effort up front to ensure that we met the requirements of Administrative Reg 4024. Now I understand that there is concern expressed in the current student leadership as to why the regulation was developed the way it was, why there isn't specific student representation on the committee that's developed, that's put together for program discontinuance. I understand that. But what I would say to the students is, I need you to be involved in the process development from day one. AR 4024 was developed by a shared governance group, which included students. Now, I can't say that the student representative was there every time, but it was made very clear the importance of these regulations to avoid the situation we're in now. Now, if there is major concern about this regulation or any regulation, then I would suggest that those be raised in the appropriate planning committee, and then we can look into how a regulation or a policy should be amended. Now, understand that it requires all the constituents to come to consensus on policy or regulatory changes, and those specific to academic and professional matters, which are the area in which the Academic Senate has responsibility. Those come down to mutual agreement between the Academic Senate and the administration. And those regulations are there for a reason. Not to leave students out, but to ensure that the faculty have that primary role in developing those processes. So I'm not going to read through this entire list of areas where we can document that the district was in compliance with Title V. What I am going to say is I'm asking the student leadership. I understand that you're concerned, displeased about the current process, but what we need is to get back to the governance structure that we have and ensure that we have the student representation at each and every one of those committees. And if the way that we're doing it now isn't working, then we need to find out how we can make it work better, so that processes that are being developed today that are going to impact us 2 or 3 years from now have the appropriate input today. To ensure that the student leaders that we have right now, who probably won't be here 2 or 3 years from now, get their appropriate voice in the development of processes today. So with that, I'll conclude my report. Thank you for giving me the time, Board President Uranga.
Yeah. Any comments from members of the board? I have one. Dr. Juarez, so in your assessment, was the policy followed? Did we follow the process of described by President Oakley in regards to the discontinuance process program?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me? Oh, okay. Sorry, Trustee.
No one's alleging that you didn't follow Administrative Regulation 4024. These decisions were made in an academic council when student leaders and student journalists tried to come for the final meeting where the recommendations were made. They were denied access to the meeting, and everything was announced in closed session. We have serious concerns about Administrative Regulation 4024, and I mean, I've had it reviewed by numerous student leaders, lawyers, a lot of people, and everyone says that Administrative Regulation 4024 does not follow Title V. So we'll just have to agree to disagree on that.
Well, then I welcome the students to participate in the rest of the shared governance process to improve the regulation.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that report. Academic affairs, no items, no report. Student support services, no items, no reports. Administrative services, no items, no report. Pacific Coast Campus, no items, no report. Economic and Resource Development, no items, no report. Academic Senate.
Well, you know, I do want to say something about the regulations because, I mean, I would certainly agree with you that they're not exactly what we had hoped they would be, but we did go through and follow them to the best of what they were. But, you know, you have to remember they were developed at a time when we didn't anticipate exactly what happened. And it's difficult. And I know in talking with other academic senate people throughout the state, they found the same thing. That, and, you know, I'm not sure that I was, the only thing I can say is that now that we've gone through the process, it's a great time to improve the process. And because now we see where the omissions and holes are, because you don't always see them ahead of time. The other thing, though, that I was really supposed to talk to you about was the kind of an update on the hiring process and the Hiring Priorities Committee. I'm sure that you probably remember that there was a previous motion by the Senate to suspend the hiring until the Hiring Priorities Committee process and criteria was took the input from the Senate and changed it and brought it back to the Senate for the Senate approval. So Dr. Lowenstein and I, as co-chairs of the committee, we took the recommendations from the Academic Senate, we put them into the documents, brought them back to Hiring Priorities Committee, they updated it, then we brought it back to the Senate, and then today there was a motion that we actually came out from last Friday, that from the Senate to accepted and passed the Hiring Priorities Committee process and criteria for determining new full-time faculty positions, and with the new revisions. But there was a request that the new process would not be used to hire full-time faculty that would be starting before the spring of 2014. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Communications?
Yes.
Communications from my fellow colleagues?
I have a couple things I wanted to mention. Number one is something that was brought up in the student trustees report. If I'd known he was going to say that, I probably would have brought it up during committee reports, but over a year ago, I had been selected to chair our committee on the smoking regulations, and it's not that I dropped the ball, it's that, we had, the last time I had meetings for that, we had talked about going to the designated areas. The board has since acted on that, and I had been requested to move on going to the smoke-free policy as well. But my position that I made clear then is that I would follow the leadership of our student government on that. If that was what they wanted, I would push that the board go in that direction. But if that is true, what was said in the report, that now the student leadership has made it clear that that is what they want, then I would hope to see us agendize that for future to go ahead and move on what the students have requested of us. Secondly, on a lighter note, I wanted to mention between the last meeting and this one, I saw our production of Julius Caesar, directed by Greg Mortensen and starring a friend of mine, Dennis Pearson as Brutus. He was excellent. I was his classmate last year in some of my classes when I took some theater classes here, and I just continued to be impressed with the quality of the work that our theater department puts out. If nobody's ever seen any of the shows, I really encourage you to do so, because it's just, I'm not just saying that because I'm an alumni of the program here, but we got some awesome theater here at LBCC, and something to be really proud of.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Otto?
Yeah, I just wanted, because this meeting is televised and a lot of people get information from it, it's important to know a lot of what the student activities are, and so I want to bring them to people's attention. First of all, the Horticulture Club is having, as President Oakley said, its open house and plant sale. Tonight was the kind of opening, but from tomorrow, March 27th through March 30th, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., you can go and buy thousands and thousands of plants that are for sale, and that the Horticulture Club and the Horticulture Department has prepared, and it's a major event that they do. It's a great event if you've never been there, and so please go to the horticulture program at the PCC campus and participate in this, which is one of their major activities of the year. On March 27th, there is an autism awareness event at the Pacific Coast campus. It's an event that we really enjoy doing, and if anyone wants to participate, that's the day we can give you more detailed information about it. The next day, on March 28th, there's a women's history event also at the Pacific Coast campus from 11 to 1. I think we've done this before, and it's been a successful program, so if anybody's interested, in particular in women's history, it's an event that we urge you to attend. The next day, on the 29th, is the Children's Easter event at the Liberal Arts Campus from 4 to 6. And we urge you to come out and participate in this Easter event. On April 7th, there's a volunteering event for Ronald McDonald House, new here in Long Beach. And if anybody's interested in the work of Ronald McDonald House, let us know. Let Vice President Peterson know, and we can help you to participate as a volunteer at Ronald McDonald House. Also on April 7th, there's a spelling bee at the Pacific Coast campus, and if any of you think you're great spellers or want to participate in that program, please do. It's one of the things that we enjoy here at the campus. On April 16th is the Mini Grand Prix Chili Cook-Off, which is a very well-attended event every year, a lot of fun. The clubs participate. On the 18th is the Mini Grand Prix itself, and then on May 3rd is the Spring Sing. Now, Spring Sing usually would have been held by now, but it was pushed back because of some scheduling issues with regard to where it's going to be held. So if you don't have some of these events on your calendar, but you'd like to participate in these kinds of activities, please come out. It's part of the student life that we offer here at Long Beach City College.
Trustee Kellogg.
Just a somewhat of a follow-up, but it actually came, I was at a community event last week, and the fact is with Easter next Sunday, and the individuals, so I want to make sure we publicly say this, this is not a safe haven for your Easter bunnies that reached a point in their lives where you don't want to handle them anymore. It came up in the course of the conversation about somewhat of a, I understand you take care of them. We can, I don't want to say they said, let's just drop them off, but the reality that does happen. But people that have those animals and they're doing something very cruel to them because many times they can't survive. Not because it's Long Beach City College they can't survive. It's because they just aren't prepared to live out in this wild place. But nonetheless, please do not think or drop those bunnies, rabbits off at this college. We've done a very good job of trying to control the population. That's to the effort of some of our faculty members. And so I just wanted to make that public announcement when I talked to that individual. They weren't planning on doing it, but I just want to make sure we say that publicly, that this is not a safe haven for the little critters. And with Easter showing up, we usually get a spike after Easter. So enjoy them. Let the kids learn how to take care of them, and please don't put that burden on us.
Thank you for that public service announcement.
Yeah.
All right. No other communications, new business. I don't think I heard anything this evening in regards to any new business for the board. Future reports. We have the ARC report that will be coming up later this year. Public comments on agenda items. At their request, members of the public will be given the opportunity to address the Board of Trustees on matters of general district business. This is a time for members of the public to speak and be heard and share their comments with the board and for the board to listen. Therefore, the public should not expect the board to comment or respond to public comments. A particular position should not be inferred if there are no board member comments during this time. A total of 5 minutes will be allotted to each subject unless extended by the board president. After receiving testimony, the board may recommend placing such items on the agenda of a future meeting or referring the items to staff for a report. Before I begin, this section of the board meeting last month got a little out of control. I totally support free speech. Say whatever you want. It's your opportunity as a public to come up here and let the board listen to what you have to say. But there's a big difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. There were comments made at the last board meeting that were very hateful in nature, very hurtful in nature, that specifically addressed members of this board and members of the staff. Any future outbursts, such as hate speech, calling people names, or calling out any one of us individually will not be tolerated. You will respectfully be asked to sit down, to change your speech. If you do not, you will respectfully be asked to sit down. And if you do not, you will be respectfully escorted out. So I wish that you maintain civility, professionalism, that you maintain respect, not only for this board and this body, but for yourselves. Because hate speech doesn't do anything but other than to point to yourself as to who you are. So if you are going to continue along those lines of that kind of speech, please consider what you are saying, how you are saying it, and why you are saying it. Another thing that happened last time was that there were a few individuals who stepped up to the mic to speak, and I did not have speaker cards for. But I allowed them to speak anyway, because, again, it's your time. We're not going to be doing that this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read your name. I want you to stand on the right side, my right, your left, and I will call your name, and you will come in the order that I said your name. And the reason we're doing that is to give individuals who came early, who took the time to get a speaker card, complete it, fill it out, and turned it in. Individuals who did not do so basically missed out. So if I call your name and you don't step up and you try to come up afterwards, if you didn't come up when I named you, I'm probably going to say it around 3 times, then I would think that you waived that opportunity. So if you do not come up when I say your name, and then you try to come up after we're done, you have already waived your opportunity to speak because I said your name already a couple of times. I just want to make that clear. We do need to maintain some kind of order. We need to maintain some kind of respect and respectability for those individuals, not only who are here on the board, but for those individuals who wish to speak. And again, I want to emphasize that, remember, in those discussions where there is more than one speaker, to keep the time limit in your mind, because there are people behind you who would also like to speak, and give them the respect and the opportunity for them to also speak about this topic or whatever it is. Thank you. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals who would like to address this continuance. 6, 5 minutes each is what, 15 minutes? What did I say? I give 3 minutes. I usually give 3 minutes per speaker, so that's 18 minutes. My math was off. I wasn't a math major. So we have 18 minutes. Let's give it 20 minutes just to round it up. 20 minutes for this topic. Keep in mind again that there are speakers behind you, and give them an opportunity to speak. The Madam Secretary will be our timekeeper, and as long as we are within the limits of our time, we'll be fine. So I want to start with Andrea Donado, Karen Harper, Angeline Rodriguez, Michelle Garcia, Rose Vance, and Lisa Foley. Okay, I'd like to, Andrea Donado, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Good afternoon. So, in order to have a good communication, respect is essential. I believe that in this country, people follow the law. And by following the law, one is respecting the people one represent. It had been hard for me finding that our law in the California Aid Code has not been in place during the program discontinuance process. And contrary to what the president just said, our own policy, 4025/24, 4/5 said that in the program discontinuance process, the Vice President of Academic Affairs will call a meeting to discuss it. This is a meeting, it's not a committee. So we were not invited to those meetings, even though I have expressed many times in this board, and I have expressed personally to some of you, my interest in being in those meetings. At this time, and as a student leader in PCC, and I am speaking on behalf of myself, and on behalf of the trade students that I represent and that follow me in a certain way, I am demanding to have a reconsideration of the process with a process that involves the students in an effective participation, as Title V says. And I want to remind that we are in a democratic process, in a democratic country. And in a democratic country, the power lies in these sides of the room. So I'm asking you once again to have that reconsideration of the process. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Karen Harper. I'm here representing Occupy Long Beach because we were asked to get involved. And I guess one of the reasons I keep coming back is because I forget to say everything I meant to say, but also because in one of the programs, I was told by the faculty that someone came to them and said, before the process began, your program is going to be eliminated because you're expensive, you're small, and there's less blowback. So I guess I'm symbolic blowback. I wanted to mention that what worries me is that not all the statistics that have been given for the criteria are correct or are skewed. For instance, when students can't complete because the courses have been eliminated, they're in a catch-22 about completion. See, the other thing I wanted to say was that it is Women's History Month. I did mention last time that from a course I took here, one course, which would be evaluated as a failure with your new criteria, I went on and wrote children's books. One of them is on Lillian Valenzuela Robles, who led the Pavagna Coalition to stop California State University Long Beach from building a strip mall on the sacred site land that was still open. So what this says is it is possible to encourage the administration to rethink and change a decision that they've made. So happy Women's History Month, everyone. On behalf of Lillian. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Are you Karen Harper?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, okay. Angeline Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
My name is Angeline Rodriguez. I'm currently in the interior design program here at Long Beach City College and in Fullerton due to the short notice of program discontinuance. I was a little hesitant to come and speak today because the deed is done and maybe there is nothing we can do. I do know that there might be a lot of students that are in the same situation as myself, and that's why I'm here today. I'm taking 17 units, commuting from 2 colleges, and went from working full-time hours to working part-time. I have bills that are overdue ever since I started this semester. I had gotten an offer to work as a design consultant in a high-end company named Quatron, but due to the program discontinuance and me being so close to finishing the 3 certificates that the ID program offers, I took a risk and turned down a good opportunity for me to be in the industry, which was exactly what I wanted. I believe that education is essential to a better living. With that said, I applied for a student loan because I could hardly work with all the courses I'm taking. I used to attend the Art Institute, which are known for having a great program for interior design. I came to Long Beach City College to pursue my career because I didn't want to be in debt. It seems as if I'm the same position now, and let me tell you that Long Beach City College has a better program than the Art Institute. I've learned a lot more here. I think it is very reckless and unethical of anyone who participated in the discontinuance of the programs in giving us students a short notice. It has affected not just my education, but my life. I am financially and emotionally stressed and have not been accommodated, as some of the trustees mentioned in the last board meetings, as they were going to. I was barely able to set up an appointment with a counselor after trying for a whole month. I didn't see any priority. I might not know about laws or my rights, but it seems this is unfair, and I feel as if my rights have been violated. You are here today because of us students. We pay for an education. We're all supposed to be here to help us. And I feel like you all haven't taken the time to accommodate us towards our education. I feel like I should just drop off school to work and have a decent living. I don't want a decent living. I want to be at the top designing and making this world we all live in a better place. Even if interior design program is cut, you will not save much. All of our drafting tables and materials were donated to us thanks to the efforts of Juliana Edlund, our program director. You all say that our rates of graduates in our program are low. Of course they are. The classes Intro to Green and Lead were part of the ID curriculum for the past 2 years, and they didn't start offering them till last fall. How are students supposed to graduate? We have at least 50 students graduating this year. Prop 39 passed funding $550 million annually for 5 years from the initiative's anticipated increase in revenue in order to fund projects that create energy efficiency and clean energy jobs in California. You're cutting the Green Design Certificate, which falls under the ID program. I don't understand the Green Design Certificate. I'm sorry. I don't understand. We were barely growing. I'm the treasurer of the USGBC club, and we have a minimum of 30 students taking the LEAD exam, which is the key of getting a job in sustainable design and projects. I know that the fashion design program was saved. The director of the program has an assistant. Our program director, Juliana Ellen, doesn't even have an assistant, and we have a small staff that works at Cal State Long Beach, as well as they were working in our curriculum to be transferable to Cal State Long Beach Interior Design Program.
Okay, Angeline, you're at 3.5 minutes.
You have all said that Long Beach City College wants to be a transfer school. It was for our program. I am transferring next year to university. I feel very disappointed in the decisions that were made, and I understand I might be just another student that's just been heard. I don't just want to be heard, I want to be accommodated as you all promised. Till this day, I'm struggling and haven't been accommodated. I will be more than happy to set up an appointment with any of you. I hope this doesn't happen to your children or your grandchildren. I hope justice will be made, not by men, but God. Thank you.
Michelle Garcia.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. I want to thank you, actually, President Oakley, for your correspondence with me, and I look forward to meeting with you in person. My name is Michelle Garcia, and I am an interior design student and also the United States Green Building Student Club president here on campus. And I'm here, obviously, to appeal the discontinuance of the interior design program, based on the fact that the interior design program offers the Green Design Certificate. The growth of the green building is undeniable, and I think you guys know firsthand, building these beautiful new buildings, that this is the direction California is going. California is a leader in green jobs. Long Beach is a leader in environmental stewardship through the port. The people of California want green jobs. With the passage of Prop 39, like Angelina said, $500 million is going to be allocated to community colleges and schools over the next 5 years. And Governor Brown's budget proposal, it specifically states, and I'm quoting this, the budget proposes to allocate all Prop 30, which is the Clean Energy Jobs Act, all funding to schools and community colleges. Community colleges can use funds to expand career technical educational training. So I ask you, why are we cutting interior design? We're doing that right now. We have a green design certificate, so why are we cutting that when they're going to be pushing for that implementation in the future? Why are we cutting a program that prepares students for a career in green building? And there's an overflow of statistics and support in green building and green jobs. And this is just an article that I found in the OC Register that was just recently published. And it says that Prop 39 is going to be creating 40,000 jobs statewide. Construction is the largest slice of green jobs. More than 25,000 architects, interior designers, landscapers, civil engineers, construction managers, and other specialists in California have been certified by the USGBC. Again, I stress the partnership that that Long Beach City College has with USGBC. I know President Uranga, you said last month that we need to look to the community for partnership, and we're doing that. We look nationally, and we partnership nationally. I obviously want this reinstated because I believe in green building, and I believe, along with the rest of California, I believe in green jobs. But I'm also asking for an extension until this proposal, I know the budget proposal hasn't been passed until May. So I'm actually asking for an extension until then, so we know how that money is going to be allocated for the community colleges. Thank you.
Rose Vance.
Thank you. My name is Rose Vance. I have a couple of handouts that need to be made. So if, Morgan, if I could have you pass those out, please. Apparently, truth must be the new hate speech. As a result of me exercising my First Amendment rights, I have suffered many forms of retaliation that are reminiscent of organized crime syndicates, including property damage, threat, intimidation, and extortion. The unprofessional conduct of faculty, administrators, and staff in these matters is disheartening, and I fully expect the situation to be rectified immediately and to my satisfaction. I was advised several times to not be as vocal. That being said, I refuse to relinquish my First Amendment rights, and I will not be intimidated. As far as counseling services for the aviation department, we finally got our email last night at 7:10, 7 weeks later than we were expecting to be told that we were going to be speaking with the counselor in our classes. The summer options are rather sad because I'm not going to be able to complete my airframe certification like I was promised because you're not offering 203. I'm also one of 7 students in my class that are in the same situation. There are other students who are going to be suffering because their programs that they need to finish power plant will not be offered to them. I'm a little disgusted with the fact that we only have 20 seats available to us. We have, as Mr. Oakley said, 130 students in aviation. Where are the rest of us going to go? One of the students that's in my class actually went to OCC. He lives in close proximity to that college. He was enrolled in their aviation program and was treated reprehensibly by their staff. That's why he chose to come to LBCC. It's a longer drive from him, but he's at least being treated with respect in his class by our teacher, Mr. Gibson. He expressed his concern to me if OCC is my only option or our only option, we definitely need to have LBCC continue its aviation maintenance program. I would also like to remind the Board of Trustees and the Academic Senate that you are still in violation of federal aviation regulations in regards to a Part 147 school, and you should definitely reconsider your discontinuance or your restructuring of aviation maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Foley.
Thank you for allowing me to address you. Again, hello, my name is Lisa Foley. I am a student in the interior design program. I would like to bring to your attention a couple of items regarding the discontinuance, which I haven't heard addressed yet. First of all, I'm a member of a large but somewhat invisible demographic. We are displaced homemakers over the age of 45. We left careers to raise our children, to be good and productive citizens. We spent many hours volunteering our time as VIPs in the local elementary schools, adding value to the education of not only our children, but many disadvantaged children as well. With our hours of unpaid service, we helped start literacy and after-school homework programs. We did fundraising to buy computers for school computer labs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in the last 5 years, as our economy has changed so drastically, we find that we must work for pay in order to feed our families. Some of us have husbands who have lost jobs or lost businesses. Some of us are widowed or divorced. Some of us will not have transportation to a new school an hour away. What we do have in common is that we must work. Our skills are outdated, and our age is a disadvantage. We cannot earn a livable wage. I presently work as a child care worker, and I earn less than a third of what I used to 20 years ago as in my previous career. This interior design program offers us training in a field which not only values our age and experience, but which also offers a livable starting salary. In fact, many older women have been hired out of internships from this program. We have in Juliana Edlin not only a forward-thinking advocate, but one who has fought to give this program the incredible reputation it has in LA and Orange County areas. She is tough, and she really cares about the students having the best preparation they can possibly have. In discontinuing this program, there's a very real discrimination being deployed against women, and in particular, older displaced homemakers. My second area of concern is that as the interior design major was updated and necessary classes were added to the curriculum, the previous dean withheld permission for these new classes to be scheduled. This left many students in limbo, waiting for 1 to 2 years to finish their last courses, thus lowering the number of degrees and certificates which might have been awarded had the courses been made available on time. I respectfully request that the board votes to put the discontinuance on hold for at least a year, so that not only can these in limbo students complete their certificates and degrees, but that a more accurate assessment may be made of the number of certificates and degrees awarded in interior design. And I think, as was spoken before, we have at least 50 who will be graduating or receiving certificates at the end of this semester. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.
The remaining speakers are one per topic, and I have Mr. Peter Rosenwald. He'd like to address bond measures. Is Peter here? No. Left? Okay. Karen Roberts, addressing part-time faculty dilemma.
Good evening, Superintendent President Oakley and Board of Trustee members. A couple of weeks ago, I gave a brief negotiations report, and in that report, I started talking about the part-time faculty dilemma. And I thought I would just continue with that theme today. And mostly because earlier today, I had a phone call from another frustrated part-time faculty member over SLO assessments. The story is a familiar one. She was concerned about being asked to do more work without compensation. I've heard her story over and over again in the past several months, and in fact, it's my own story. I'm paid to be in the classroom. I'm paid to teach my classes as all part-time faculty, preparing for classes, grading exams and papers, meeting with and helping students is all done on my own time. In addition, I'm not offered medical benefits, nor are any part-time faculty, nor am I offered any kind of job security. I pay for my own medical benefits. Many part-time faculty go without benefits because they can't afford them. And then others, of course, have jobs outside of this institution. The bottom line is that 70% of all faculty on this campus at LBCC work under these conditions. Not 70% of part-time faculty, 70% of all our faculty. And this is because of the over-reliance on part-time faculty. The very part-time nature of our work is fraught with negative implications. We can be hired for 1 semester. We can be hired for 10 semesters. Usually that's 1 semester at a time. We can be hired at the beginning of a semester only to be bumped by a full-time faculty member whose class didn't have enough students to continue. For the adjunct faculty, there is no golden ticket to job security. Adjuncts can be dismissed or not renewed without cause, although we are completing the same work and teaching the same students as our tenure-earning counterparts. Part-time faculty mostly feel the need to maintain a low profile. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't speak up because they're worried about losing their classes. Again, 70% of all faculty at Long Beach City College work under these conditions. In the early 1970s, part-time faculty were hired for academic and program needs, not for financial savings. Today, however, that's quite different. The college must rely on part-time faculty for the financial savings. Otherwise, how would the institution survive? The over-reliance of part-time faculty also increases the professional load placed on an already overburdened tenured faculty. Recently, the district has sought to add SLO assessments to our part-time professional responsibilities. But because the role of the adjunct is loosely defined, the list of professional responsibilities becomes more and more ambiguous. Because adjuncts are usually employed at more than one campus or have jobs elsewhere, their prioritized commitments are not the same as tenured faculty. All this affects the integrity of the college. A transient adjunct faculty may or may not have the time or the motivation to be invested in this college's overall mission and its reorganization plan. And one thing is most likely true. The more the role of the part-time faculty is expanded, whether through increasing their professional responsibilities or shared governance, the more we need to depend on part-time faculty to move the college's plan forward. We all need them to be invested. And that's a reminder to us that any reorganization plan of the college alone does not determine the outcome. We can write as many reorganization plans as we want. The success of the plan depends on its people, students, staff, and faculty. We can't afford to turn a blind eye to the dilemma of the part-time faculty. We must find a workable solution. According to a recent report from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, a comprehensive understanding of adjunct faculty in the higher education environment is vital to ensure that the evolution of the position matches the evolution of the college. In addition, higher education has increasingly come to rely on a teaching force that it neither compensates nor develops. That old song that faculty form the core of higher education institution has become distorted. Thank you for your time.
Lynn Shaw.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Lynn Shaw, and I'm the president of the Community College Association, the full-time faculty union. So I'd like to begin with pointing out these beautiful yellow pear tomato plants that were sent to all the board members, plus President Oakley from Jorge Ochoa from the plant sale today. It was a beautiful thing seeing this wonderful program and a long line of people waiting to come in and buy plants. So I encourage you all to go over there and keep the horticulture program strong. So the morale at Long Beach City College is at an all-time low. This is of great concern to the faculty because it's impacting all aspects of college life. So first, we have the 18 faculty who have received layoff notices. Together, they have worked 164 years at the college, and we are just throwing them away. They range from 1 year to 16 years of service, and 39% of these laid-off faculty are ethnically diverse, primarily Asian. This hurts everyone at the college, but especially it hurts the students. Students will have fewer class options, and I know the faculty do not want to have an English and math-only college, and neither does the community. Closing these 11 programs limits student choices. And next, we have the faculty who have not been laid off, and we're wounded and we're angry. The morale is so low that full-time tenured faculty are actively applying for other jobs at other colleges and other places. I think this is a first for Long Beach City College because never before would any tenured faculty member ever consider leaving Long Beach City College. The morale is so low and faculty don't feel valued or respected. So I'm asking the board and the administration to partner with the faculty union to do something about this. So after spring break, who can I count on to work with me on this?
John Kindred. One more.
Since last December, I've brought up this question a number of times to the Board of Trustees and to President Oakley about the $2 billion that could have saved our programs that other colleges received, other universities, and trade. And to this day, that question has never been answered, not once, or even a halfway question. Now, in the last meeting, President Uringa, I gave you the paper showing where that money came from, and you did say to me after the meeting when I talked to you that you would look into this and get back on it. I'm asking you to let the community know about this. Also, too, President Oakley, you said about cutting programs, restructuring programs, to the point the community is confused. Okay, what data do you have that what you're planning on doing is going to work, that we can see in our hands and say, hey, you know, it looks good or it looks bad? We have never seen anything. We hear your words, but nothing to back up what you're saying in black and white with a name signed to it. You know, today I come to you not as a student, but as an involved community member, a parent and grandparent. You know, not as a student. You know, and I'm asking the question that people in the community are asking as they learn about this stuff each day, and that number is growing. And I know some of you are planning on rerunning maybe for the Board of Trustees or running for city council or mayor. And these questions will come up each day in 2014 also. And as that number grows, people are going to remind this and look at this. I'm not saying this as a threat, but I'm saying as somebody who will be voting and asking questions of all the candidates, no matter who they may be. Because we're going to look at who's going to be best to represent our investments, which is our children and our grandchildren in our community. Mr. Lowenthal, you came from a college where you did a lot of cuts. And after you left there, a lot of those programs were put back in. Not all of them, but a lot. And I followed your history on a lot of things. And you have a trail. And people can look online, look this stuff up, not opinion. And President Oakley, when you first brought him here, Channel 7 came out to talk to you. And nobody would come out and talk to Channel 7. Why is that? And I know a lot of times you don't have to ask none of our questions, but each time you don't answer our questions, people make their own judgment. And I think if you came to us and asked us questions, respect the answer, well, then I think you should give that mutual respect. Thank you.
Emiliano Uranga.
Good evening, Long Beach City College community and family. My name is Emiliano Uranga, and I am a senior at Cal State Dominguez Hills University. I'm also the president of the Labor Studies Club on campus. I'm here to invite you all on behalf of the Labor Studies Department and students to the 5th Annual Labor, Social, and Environmental Justice Fair at Cal State University Dominguez Hills. This event will take place April 25th from 9 a.m. to 4. It's located in the Loker Student Union area, and there will be free food, admission, although parking will be $4 if you don't have a permit, of course. High schools, community colleges, and university students will meet and network with over 50 social justice organizations. We will have guest speakers, dance, art contests, music, as well as legal resources, interactive workshops, and much, much more. What makes this event more remarkable is that it's organized by the students for the students. It's in this rough economic time, we want to give the students a taste of what organizing can give to them and what the power it holds and what they can do with it, and what it means to be proactive in your community and not reactive. To network with many different organizations, to give a first-hand look at what the work different organizations are doing in their respective communities. And most of these efforts are done by students, by people who look like the audience in this crowd. A lot of union representation will be there, and a lot of people standing behind those tables and underneath those canopies are young people, motivated and energetic, and they have a lot of great and bright ideas to offer. And another reason why I encourage the whole Long Beach City College community to participate in this event. And they encourage collaboration and cohesion, and not combativeness. With the state of education is today, Sacramento has certainly placed a really low priority on education, but also a really big to-do list for students, for us today, both across CSU and community colleges. However, when we do graduate, what workforce will we be going into? And I think that this fair will certainly give hope and opportunity, even more so, and encouragement for students across the board. It's definitely a really big learning experience, and I encourage everyone to go again. It's meant to enlighten and expand perspectives on how social justice movements, labor issues, as well as environmental rights affect everybody, regardless of what campus we're in or what creed or what we look like or what neighborhood we belong to. It affects everybody. And presented by the Labor Department at Dominguez Hills, we as students have organized this since the beginning of the semester. We made calls for fundraising, we networked, and most importantly, we build those relationships to keep this going for the 5th year in a row. and successfully, I might add. I urge my Long Beach Community College family, as an alumni, to attend this event. It's located at Cal State University Dominguez Hills. Come see what the university campus feels like, what it has to offer, and perhaps consider Dominguez Hills as a potential transfer school. And if not, hopefully that'll be on your radar at the very least. If social justice is your passion, it is definitely a place for you all to attend and to go to. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all on April 25th.
Okay, there were some issues that were raised this evening. President Superintendent Oakley, do you want to address some of those?
Well, I think as Dr. Shaw brought up a couple issues regarding faculty morale and the work that we're doing with Dr. Shaw and CCA. And although I didn't hear her mention, I think she would agree that certainly at the negotiating table, we're working collaboratively to resolve these issues as best we can. Our chief negotiator, Dr. Viscasil, has been working with CCA president on this issue of morale. I have brought it up today at faculty open hours that I've scheduled throughout the next month and a half. We've spoken about it at our academic council meetings, and I think it goes without question, Dr. Shaw, that I'm here to support your efforts. I think we have a lot that we can do together. We've been doing a lot together throughout your tenure as president of CCA. I have respected and accepted your counsel throughout the last year and a half on everything that's gone on here, and hopefully we'll continue that relationship with you and all faculty. And with regard to the diversity of faculty, that is certainly something that has been on my mind since the day I stepped foot on this campus. We have a faculty that's 70% Caucasian. We need to change that, not because we need to change it for the sake of changing it, but we need to have it reflect the faces that we serve in this community. So I'm open to any suggestions you have on how we do that, how we encourage that, and how we complete that for our college and our community. I understand and certainly appreciate your efforts to support the faculty that are impacted by program discontinuance. I think you've done a tremendous job in doing so, and we'll continue to work with CCA to support and respect those faculty and do everything we can to support their transition. And so continue to work with you and your organization to support the needs of all of our faculty. I appreciate that we disagree sometimes, but I certainly appreciate your willingness to work with me and with the rest of the administration to ensure that all of our faculty, part-time and full-time, are considered. And I also want to thank Karen Roberts for her leadership with the part-time faculty for bringing up these issues, which are issues that we need to consider and deal with. We are successful because of all of our faculty, and as she's mentioned, our part-time faculty are a big part of this college. I thank Dr. Juarez and the Senate for helping us come to resolution on academic hires. We will be hiring quite a number of faculty over the next 2 to 3 years, quite a number of full-time faculty, and so I hope that we can provide opportunities for our part-time faculty to fill those roles. So thank you to both of you, and I would be remiss to not thank AFT President Thomas Hamilton as well, who also has been working with us on the classified morale, which is classified have taken the biggest hit at this college. We recognize that, and that will be the first priority as we turn the corner to ensure that our classified staff are brought back to some semblance of health to ensure that this college operates well. So thank you for that opportunity, Board President Uranga.
Thank you. There is no need for a second closed session, so I will take a motion to adjourn. So moved. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.